Welcome to Scofield Farm. I'm Carice if you're new here. We live in Northern California, Zone 9B, where we can garden year-round. We have chickens, bees, a golden doodle dog, 7 kids, and sent our firstborn off to college for the first time. That's been quite an adjustment. Today I want to show you my garden. It is... It's crazy, guys. It's August, and August gardens are already kind of wild and crazy, but this year I have been recovering. My body's had quite a few physical issues. I had shoulder surgery in January, and then I threw my back out kind of as a result of that surgery and immobilization, and I just haven't been in the garden as much as usual. And so it is like, oh my, she's a hot mess, guys. This garden is a hot mess, but I'm going to share it with you because I know that's relatable for some of you, that sometimes you have these great plans of gardening and you're going to have it, grow these certain things and have it look just so, and then life happens and your garden ends up a hot mess. But the good news is hot mess gardens even still produce food. And I'm going to show that to you today. I want to first show you out in front of my house where I am growing citrus in pots, and I've got some different fun things in pots, and then I will show you our persimmon tree, and then I'll meet you right back here. Citrus looks good. Look at all those limes. My goodness, they're just all over. So many. And they're obviously not really quite ripe yet, but I could use one that is not quite ripe in its green state to make salsa. Can you believe I haven't even made any garden salsa yet? But the rest of the citrus have a few things here and there. Let's see, this one has none for some reason, and I'm not sure why, because it's actually a good size. A lot of them fell off or it was deer, but we have all different things on all of them. Lots and lots of lemons. Obviously, it's not gonna have them ripen until, gosh, probably more like January or so. But all of them are doing good. All of them are growing and moving right along. Ooh, looks so good. These will be delicious. Those are actually Tango. Tango are really yummy. And the grapefruit always get too heavy by the end. They're not too heavy yet, but they will be. And that's why I'm thinking I need to actually give these a permanent spot in the ground at some point so I don't break all the branches. I have some random lettuce growing in this pot of what's supposed to be milkweed for butterflies, and I guess the soil I used had a few lettuce seeds, or maybe I sprinkled them in. I can't even remember, but that's fun. It's August and I have lettuce. My front herbs are thriving, and I actually need to harvest them because they always live through the winter but kind of die back a little bit, and I want to have a lot stored up, so I need to harvest those. The sweet potato in this pot right outside my back door looks great. Over here I keep having chicken issues, and so my ginger is not doing that great, even though it's on a timer. But Queen Lime Red Zinnia, it's the only one I have of that variety. But yeah, they're just digging this like crazy, and I've got to get them to stop coming in this part of the backyard. We wrapped this persimmon tree to hopefully not have deer or ground squirrels or birds eat our persimmons, and they're not ripe yet, but they're starting to turn color. So that is encouraging. Hopefully we get some, even though they're smaller. I can't wait to have persimmons. I love persimmons. We didn't cover our peach tree. We had a big peach tree that grew back. We nursed it back to health from when we bought the house, and it was covered in little peaches. They weren't huge, but there's probably 100 of them. We did not cover it with something like this, and the deer ate every single one. And I'm kicking myself. We should have covered it. I knew better, but I just didn't get around to getting enough tulle or a cover. So lesson learned. At least we'll hopefully get persimmons. So those things are pretty great, and that's not actually in the vegetable garden. I have other places like a pollinator garden, more in that herb garden that I didn't really talk about. I have in-ground citrus and other in-ground trees, but we're not gonna get to those today. We're gonna go right into this veggie garden that is the hot mess, and be gracious to me. In fact, let me know in the comments below if your August garden looks as crazy and out of control as mine. I think I need some encouragement, guys. This is like the most crazy any August garden I've ever had has been. And I have been growing food for 15 summers and other off seasons too, because we can do that here. And I've been growing herbs and flowers for I think like 20 years. It's never been this crazy. Let me show you. Okay, so see this summer squash zucchini? It is supposed to be growing vertically in this tomato cage. That's what I do. That is not what happened because I was not in here encouraging it upright. This one as well, it's producing fruit, but it is laying completely on its side, not in the cage at all. In fact, it broke the cage. You can see right there, the rings. Don't ever buy a cheap cage, guys. Definitely not worth the investment. Oh, this one is doing what I planned. So this is how it's supposed to look. See how there is a yellow summer squash and it is growing completely upright and vertically so that you can see it easily. You don't lose your squash and it saves space. That is what all of these are supposed to look like, but they didn't get the memo. They thought gardener is absent. We will do whatever we want. It sounds kind of like kids too, right? When the parent's not home, you never know what's gonna happen. Plants are like kids. So I missed a bunch of my onions, and you can see that a bunch of my onions are actually coming back up for a second chance of life, and we're just gonna go with it. Those are all gonna bolt, probably because onions, their second year usually bolt, but I will harvest them as like spring onions and all will not be lost. Ooh, we have some of the beans coming up. I did plant some pole beans here, but this looks like something bit off the top. Oh, that one looks better. Oh, I'm telling you guys, my direct sowing efforts have not gone great here. 3 different times I tried to sow cucamelon in the same place and some other kind of cucumber, and pests got them every time, and it looks like that's actually kind of what's happening right here with the beans. Pill bugs are one common thing in my garden. People say they're harmless, but in my experience, they love to eat young, tender seedlings when they come up and give them no shot at life. I do have tomatoes growing in this bed. This was where I decided to put all of my paste type tomatoes. This was not a good choice this year because this bed, I feel like, does not have as many nutrients as the bed I put them in last year. Last year, I was gathering tons and tons of paste tomatoes by this time, and this year they're trickling in. And that might partly because this monster of a sage basically takes space and takes nutrients and takes room for roots. I used to have 2, one in this bed and one in a different bed. I took the other one out, and this one I desperately needed to cut back. I was gonna even give my cousin a bunch of sage, and I did not do it yet. So I think my tomatoes are suffering. I mean, you can see that they're not huge. Yes, they have fruit. Most of it's green, but they're smaller than they should be this time of year for sure. I don't think they're as healthy as they should be because of the sage. Oh, but look at these zinnia. These are candy cane zinnia, and they're one of my favorites. I love how they're a double bloom. That just means they're like puffy like this. They're so pretty, and oh my goodness. I have not picked nearly as many zinnia for bouquets as I usually do, but ooh, that's a pretty color. But I sure love them, and my daughter does come out and pick them for me. Next bed we have pickling cucumber all on this side, and it's quite pretty. It looks lovely, and I bet if we look in there, we're gonna find some ripe cucumber. I direct sowed these this year, and they were late to the game, but they have produced really well and actually survived pests much better than I anticipated. Back here, we have celery. We have a bolting celery that I just let go, and we just go with it. I am sure the pollinators love that. We have more tomatoes, and these tomatoes have not done that great for me. I was not going to plant any tomatoes in this bed this year. Ran out of space, just planted a few, and they haven't done great. Like, look, you can see there's a little one right here, but it should be packed with tomatoes. Little one right there. There are blossoms, but they just kind of look spindly. They don't look as healthy as they should, and I kind of think all of those chives in the middle I think they're crowding it out. I think this year I might have to take an entire chive bush out because you can have too much of a good thing. On the end, we do have eggplant that is finally deciding to produce. I believe this is a new one to me. I think this is the Rosa Bianca, and I can't wait to see what it looks like. I mean, we're just having little ones start. I have some volunteer lettuce that came back, and I'm very happy about that. I love lettuce. We have Emily basil all through this bed. This is the Italian basil that I choose to do, and it's produced really well. We've harvested from it over and over, but I'm waiting for it to get bushier. Oh, wow. Look at that celosia. I haven't harvested any of this for bouquets, but I really should. I didn't even realize they had pink tops until right now. I think the rest of them have been more white. Do you see that? Can you see it in the sunlight? I don't know if it's really showing the color right, but those are lovely. I should put some of those in a bouquet. Yeah, a lot of chives. We have too many chives, as I said. We have some chamomile down here that's kind of hiding. And I just picked a little bit from it at a time, trying to save it up for tea. I actually grow all my own tea. I love herbal tea. I made it a goal a couple years ago to transition to growing all my tea instead of spending lots of money on buying tea. And it has really paid off. I mean, I don't have as much chamomile this year as I was hoping, but I grow Tulsi basil. I have a bunch of it drying on the table inside. I need to make a whole nother picking of it. I even drink Thai basil as a tea. We drink sage tea, echinacea tea, what else? All sorts of lovely teas. And it's a fun thing to add to your garden, to have an herb garden, a tea garden. If you haven't tried growing your own teas, I recommend it because the flavor is off the charts compared to buying them in bags from the store. I mean, even compared to loose leaf, I feel like the fresher you get from the garden, the better the tea tastes. So the strawberries just look like the strawberries that I never did prune this year at all, never did feed them. They still did well somehow. My kids eat from them every single day. Very rarely bring any inside for me, but that is to be expected when you have 7 kids, 6 living at home. It's great to have a treat, a fruit that they can come eat whenever they want. Over here, this is my Roselle hibiscus, a Jamaican hibiscus that I use for my husband's favorite drink from Guatemala. He grew up in Guatemala, and I'm so glad to be able to grow that for him. We have a wild and crazy zinnia on this bed. We have a ton of tomatillos, and I have got a confession to make to you guys. I haven't harvested any of them the whole season. I haven't been able to bend over because of my back. I had some intense back issues, and I've been going to physical therapy now for my back in addition to my shoulder, and I haven't been able to bend over. And I forgot to tell my kids to search for tomatillos when I was telling them to search for strawberries and cucumbers and cherry tomatoes. So I probably need somebody who has a more mobile back than me to do a big tomatillo picking, because
This was off the vine already.
yikes.
This was off the vine already.
Could you maybe pick a bunch of those and put them in a tray? All right, thank you. I need that help
All of
desperately. Sure, I would love it. I have a tray over there by the
right.
gate. They should be, and we can make a big green salsa. I was just talking to a camera without it rolling. You guys, I've got to be real with you. I have been dreading doing this garden tour because of the craziness of the garden. Now I have to tell you how crazy this bed is all over again because it wasn't taping. This bed, okay, so tomatillos going crazy in here. Like, there's probably so many we could make green salsa, and I have not made any salsa this year, you guys. This is supposed to be my leek bed. See the leeks? Yeah, leeks, blooming leeks even. Well, the bed we planted the tomatillos in originally, it was our old potato bed, and it got attacked by gophers, moles, voles, ground squirrels, and maybe even my dog. I just found out my dog has been digging holes outside the garden fence, so he has also been a culprit this year. We had to move all the tomatillos after my ground cherry plant completely disappeared overnight. So they're in this bed, and they were never going to be in this bed. Also, the tomatoes weren't going to be in this bed. I think we just planted 4 tomato plants in here, but it's because we ran out of room. We had so many tomatoes, I could not dump them. So this bed looks so crazy jungly, and it wasn't supposed to be like this, but let me show you what the tomatoes look like. They are in the path because, guys, if tomatoes are not staked up, they will grow horizontal like they do in nature, and we are being all natural in this garden. There are a few tomatoes on here. I don't even know what variety this is, but it is growing sideways and it is not growing vertically at all. So that's what you get for vertical, non-vertical gardening. Oh wow, that's a gorgeous tomatillo. Pick away, girl. We are gonna have salsa verde. Yep, there are weeds in my path this year because even though I bought a really cool hoe weedy thing, I couldn't use it when my back was hurt. Ooh, yummy. So much Thai basil. I need to harvest more of that. We love it. Oh, wow. Out of control chives. This is what my garden is like this year. But guys, this is the first year I have grown this. I believe it is an acorn squash, and I've waited all season for it to produce. And look, finally, I was actually doubting myself that it was self-pollinating and wondering if I needed a second one, but it does have a couple little ones. Oh, look at this cute one. Can you see it? I can't remember what this one was called. Table Queen Acorn Squash. That's what this one's called. And I'm curious to know what the flavor is going to be like. But I'm so happy they're producing. I didn't even know that till just now. I was just doubting that they would produce that another plant, and here they are. They're doing their thing. So much Thai basil in here, and a little girl doing her job of picking tomatillos. Wow, we will have enough for salsa for sure. We have an eggplant hiding in here. Oh, it's so cute. It even has baby eggplant. They're quite small, but they're the real deal. We'll have to harvest some soon. So much Thai basil. And I love this both for making curries and for having hot tea. It's like licoricey. Not that small. Maybe pick the bigger ones. Leave that one be from here on out. But there's so many down here. You will find some for sure. You might say this is a messy path, but this was California poppies. You can still see a few alive. Normally I would pull back the dead ones, but I'm happy with living California poppies. It helps my bees, and I think they're pretty and they make me happy. And look at these. So cute. I think they're called teddy bear sunflowers. And some of my sunflowers didn't do well this year, but these did. And they're my chickens. Hello. Hello. You think I have a treat for you, but I don't. No, I don't. This year is the year of the zinnia in the path. Last year, we had tons of volunteer sunflowers. This year, we have tons of zinnia. Both those I planted purposefully, and those that volunteered. Oh, I love this white color. This is from saving seeds and replanting. We never bought a white zinnia, but for some reason this one came back white, and I am not complaining, guys. We have lime basil, and I need to harvest this badly. We have lots of, oh man, eggplant. I wanted to show you this. This looks beautiful. Oh, it's pretty. It's the Rosa one, Rosa Bianca. And then we have down here, let's see, Black Beauty. Those are almost ready to harvest. We have calendula all over my garden. I love it. I was gonna harvest a bunch to dry and make a salve, and my injury kept me from harvesting. So now I have a ton of calendula to deadhead, or we will only have a garden of calendula next year, guys, because it comes back with a vengeance, whether you want it or not. It is quite beautiful though. We have a lot of chard in this bed, and we have crazy hot spicy peppers in this bed as well. And some of them have not done as well as they have in the past, but I can't even tell you why. I don't know. I just blame the absence of the gardener, I think. Ooh, that's a pretty color zinnia we have. Very light pink and very, very lovely. A little bit of like salmon-y color in it too. Do you see that salmon? That is gorgeous. So some of these peppers have done terrible. I mean, peppers that traditionally do great for me, like Serrano, look like that. I usually have hundreds of Serranos by now. Literally no exaggeration. I use them as like the base for a lot of hot sauces because they are so prolific, and they're kind of a neutral flavor. And I don't know if I've got one serrano this year at all. But our beans are starting to produce and they have tiny little beans on them. These beans we should be harvesting in our very next video. They are so close. So we'll have to start searching through that. I planted more pole beans over here. I believe it's the noodle beans I put in this one and the purple ones at the other one. And I did replant over here a bunch of beans, but like
This here are coming up.
it's kind of dry. They don't seem like the ones here are coming up at all.
These are all coming up.
I'm gonna have to get out the hose and water. Sure, that would help me a lot if you watered them.
1, 2. So wait.
Well, I hope those are productive. We'll go to this bed next, I think. The one behind there with all the lemon cucumber. Oh, look at that. This is magical and this is crazy, but this shows how it can be crazy and produce fruit. I haven't done good at getting them to go over the top. I mean, some have that I've tried to encourage, but a lot are just bunched up. But look, there are lemon cucumber and there's trobacino squash. Lots of them, like lots of them. You can eat those like green or, oh, I'm out of breath, tan, like a butternut squash. I think I'm going to save them for tan maybe, but there's so much food in here and it's hiding. It's like hiding really well. I need to look for it. But see, these parts need to be encouraged up and I did not do a great job at it, but we're still getting fruit even with the crazy. Could you take a second and like this video if you have experienced a crazy August garden yourself? If you like lemon cucumbers or have ever grown trobacino squash, or you just like channels about gardening and want to learn more about the crazy way that we actually do real life here. We actually do this with kids and it is not perfect. We are not perfect. We're not going to pretend to be perfect, but we're going to share with you the way life looks when you want to homestead and you want to grow food for your family and you're willing to take a risk even when things might go wrong and might be crazy. Hey, follow along. Hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell. You'll hear about our future videos. We love to share life with you guys. We love to be real and grow food and inspire others to do the same. Okay, let's get back to the tour. Yep, more zinnia, because that's what we do this year, the year of the zinnia. Okay guys, I'm gonna hop over to this bed. Over here, we have a ton of tomatoes, a ton of cherry tomatoes, and that's so weird. These almost look like sunrise bumblebee, but they're not supposed to be. I thought these were sun gold, but I don't know. They're supposed to be sun gold. Ooh, look at that ripe sun gold in there. I'm gonna get it. Where'd it go? Right here. I'm gonna get this one. Look at that. That's like the perfect color. It's gotta be really, really dark and it'll be really, really sweet. My favorite. Very favorite. We have such hot, dry summers that it makes our tomatoes really sweet, especially cherry tomatoes. They get very, very sweet because it is so hot here. So there's more zinnia, so many zinnia, so many. Oh, look at those. Beautiful. I don't think I got any of these this year. I think these are the blue cream berry. And we have the black cherry, which they are best when they're like this dark. I mean, they've got to get like reddish, darkish. You don't really want green shoulders. I actually need to harvest some of this dill because I'm gonna make pickles tonight. We have so many pickling cucumbers inside. Okay, I'm just gonna cut this off and take it in and use it for my cucumbers. These are gorgeous. I am a sucker for hot pink flowers. Oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. I need to bring some inside. And my snapdragon are coming back. I did a heavy pruning of these, saved some seeds, and they are coming back, even though they are buried by my out of control tomatoes that I have not staked up like I should. This is not supposed to be like this, you guys. This is what happens if you don't tie things up, and I did not do it. My husband's helped me a little bit, but he hasn't even been able to keep up out here. Oh, pretty. So we have beautiful tomatoes like this growing that I didn't even know were here. That is so pretty. That must be a green zebra. You think it's a green zebra? I don't think it's quite ripe. Oops. I'm gonna bring it inside though. It was really beautiful. Okay, so when I say we had a lot of gophers, it's like that. And it's like this. This was the bed where I had my tomatillos, my grand cherries, and it is just like, it's not supposed to look like that, guys. They've never done that to me. And they've done it so bad this year. It's like, Oh, it's kind of embarrassing. And I have potatoes in here I need to harvest. And I don't even know, maybe they got them all. Maybe those stupid gophers got all of my potatoes because I haven't been out here, haven't been doing my job. At least these sweet potatoes are growing. They're kind of delayed, but they are growing. We have lots of dill I can pick and just a whole mess. We do have sunflowers. This is actually a volunteer one. The ones I planted on purpose did not do well, but this is ridiculous. Okay, here are some potato plants I need to dig up, but I'm afraid that the gophers are going to get them first, and that just bothers me so much. My dog is trying to get to something that's digging, whether it is a gopher or a ground squirrel, and I just don't even have the energy. I don't know what to do with them. I do have blooming, bolting asparagus here. This is my asparagus little area. But yeah, my dog is like trying to be a hunter. He's not really doing that great of a job. And oh my gosh, see, look at the big amount of space here. Like, it's not even protected by, I thought I had a log here, but no, not anymore. Anything that wants to get in can get in. Anything. It's like a huge 6-inch hole. These are beautiful though. Let's just stop and let's take inventory of what is going right. The sunflowers. The sunflowers and the bees at the sunflowers, that is going right. Even though I come to this side and I'm so frustrated with ground squirrels and gophers and our gopher trap that has caught nothing, but we have sunflowers and I love sunflowers, guys. They make me happy. Yep, there's a dumb gopher trap that cost me 50 bucks that has caught nothing. So my gophers are destroying my garden. And there's a beautiful volunteer butternut squash, and I'm happy about it because I love butternut squash and I will take anything that's fruitful when I'm having problems with other things. This bed is supposed to be like my sweet pepper bed. There are beautiful bell peppers growing, like right there. Right there. I mean, there are quite a few growing. Are they as productive as I hoped? No, there's other sweet peppers. There's also eggplant, and yeah, we also have lots of volunteer calendula. I told you that already. We have beautiful echinacea. I already did 2 cutting back of echinacea, 2. And it's blooming again. Echinacea is cut and come again. It is gorgeous. If you have echinacea, cut it and it will come back. Guys, oh, my frustration with the gophers. I can't get over it. And something's been digging in here and it's got to be something that came from the top because gophers don't do that. Look at this. That's pretty. That's pretty. I had a sugar rush peach that came back this year. It overwintered. All the things I tried to overwinter, I killed. The things that I didn't came back. I love sugar rush peach, so I am not complaining about that at all. Okay, see how big this plant is? I think this is a Sunbright Gold. It doesn't have fruit, but that's how big my Serrano usually are, and my Serrano are like itty bitty, so who knows, who knows. Lots of zinnia. You can even see some cosmos over there. It's just beautiful and crazy, and oh, I am a sucker for vines even when they are really out of control. I'm gonna try to go over there and show you this area. I have volunteer strawberries in the path now that I'm regretting them. I also have cosmos that fell over and became in the path with a cardboard box and a chair. So I don't know if I'm going to get in there very well. Let me just tell you from this side, okay? This is real, guys. This is real life, and I'm just being real with you, okay? These are my new beds of tomatoes, and I love them, and something has definitely been digging around in there. I don't know what, but that is really annoying. I feel like I had some sort of basil there, but I don't see it. That is annoying as heck. Well, anyway, they do have tomatoes growing on them, but not as many as you'd hope. They are like out of control big. Yes, some need to be tied up. Some were tied up by my husband. We're not going to get in that path. That is not, it's like no trespassing, right? It's like a no trespassing sign. Gardeners not allowed here. That's what I'm thinking that's saying to me. I think that I'm like having to eat a bit of humble pie. I've always had a fairly tidy garden. I mean, I love to prune. I love for flowers to come back, so I deadhead a lot. And I like to like really heavily prune my tomatoes, which is why I grow them so close. And that didn't happen. And they look atrocious. And here I'm showing this to everyone on the internet, whether I know you or not. Can we just laugh? Because can I show you this row? And it's supposedly the easier row for me to walk down the path than the one that said no trespassing. Okay, it's beautiful, but it is literally all zinnias and there is nowhere to walk. So I'm gonna try to walk in this path, but I might crush a few zinnias in the meantime. And my dog is still over there crying for a ground squirrel that he wants to be his best friend. I wish he was a hunter and would kill the darn thing, but no, he wants to play with it if he can find it. And that's not my will for his life. So I'm gonna try to ignore him. Look at this mess, guys. Wish me luck. This is like, this is crazy. All right, I'm gonna trip over zinnias, but I wanna show you I do have some tomatoes growing in here, but not quite enough. I mean, for the amount of green I have, very few tomatoes. I hope that those flowers at the top make tomatoes, because this is not looking great, guys. There's whatever this is. I mean, these are tiny. Are they gonna get bigger? I don't know. Over here, again, lots of growth. We had wonderful, wonderful soil in here in these new beds. But, oh, here's some tomatoes. Here's something here. Here's something here. You know, the heirlooms never produce that great for me until it cools off. So I'm hoping that it cools off enough for them to set fruit, for me to get tomatoes and make this jungle worth the space, because I love heirloom tomatoes. We've been kind of eating them trickling in. As I said, paste tomatoes have not done great, and so we've made no salsa. I would make it with the heirlooms, but I've been enjoying them in caprese salads. It's like my favorite thing on burgers, on sandwiches. You know, we have a family of 9, and we're getting just enough to serve those needs and not make salsa and not preserve. So I'm hoping for a good bumper crop. Sometimes our garden, our summer garden, keeps going till like start of December. Last year we had a early cold snap, killed all the tomato plants and all the vines the end of October. That's early for us. Usually it's more like middle November. So I'm hoping for a tomato harvest still. Even though it's not looking great now, we mostly are growing tomato trees. I mean, trees. Hopefully we get tomato fruit. Oh, these are my other vining arch trellises. I have pumpkins. One good pumpkin, but it looks like maybe another one right there starting. Pretty butternut squash. Not a ton of fruit yet, but you see that one right there. It looks good. Oh, both more butternut squash and the most beautiful pumpkin I ever did see. Oh my goodness, I think it's just about ready for me to pick it. So pretty. Oh, it's gorgeous. Such deep, deep orange. The back side of this. Okay, we've got more crazy, crazy tomatoes. Ooh, look at that. I can tell it's a Black Beauty because the anthocyanins make it dark, dark purple. That will be a delicious one when it's ready. We have more celery because I had so many celery starts. I have beautiful cosmos. Yes, you guys, yes. Yes, that's gorgeous and it's not falling over. I'm shocked. Okay, on the back fence, we have another tomato. We have our replanted potatoes in grow bags. I have lots of volunteer sunflowers that, ooh, look at the color. Gorgeous, gorgeous, darling. More volunteer sunflowers. Something ate the tops off of them. I think deer got in here. I'm totally being straight with you, and they can jump the fence. They don't usually, but I don't know anything else that eats the entire top off of sunflower plants other than deer. More wild and crazy zinnia. Oh, you guys, it's zinnia world in my garden. And then this is supposed to be pumpkins, but as I said, haven't had a lot of fruit yet, but have had a lot of vines. There's still time. Still time. Ooh, look at this. Spaghetti squash. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Do we have more? I don't know, but we also have loofah. Oh, there's another spaghetti squash right there. We have loofah. Loofah does not actually produce loofah till it cools off. But look, you can see it's just starting to produce the flowers just now. So we have hope that we will get loofah. They hate our hot weather. They only do well if we have a good fall. That's it. If we don't have a good fall, loofah does terrible. Okay. This is one of the prettiest places in the garden. I want to show you. Just take it in for a minute. It's wild. It's crazy. But it's got vine archways. It has flowers, all sorts of flowers, all sorts of plants. This is like all sorts of interplanting. I have basils, I have eggplant, I have calendula, zinnia, all sorts of peppers, loofah, spaghetti squash, pumpkins. I mean, you name it, it is growing in this bed. And it makes me happy. And let's just ignore all of the deadheading that needs to happen right now. Let's ignore the imperfection. Let's look at the beauty. Let's look at the peppers. Let's look at how many peppers I have. Sugar Rush Peach is one of my favorites, and those have done well for me this year. Maybe my Serrano did horrible, but my Sugar Rush Peach, they are showing off, you guys. Oh, we make such a good hot sauce with these. Oh my goodness, look over there. They are showing off. Oh, yes. I eat them in my scrambled eggs. I eat them on everything. I put them in salsa, but their hot sauce is out of this world. It is my kids' very favorite hot sauce. I would say it rivals Thai Dragon chili hot sauce because that one is so versatile to use on everything. But my kids still say their very favorite hot sauce is Sugar Rush Peach. I have not made it yet this year. I need to. I have some hot sauce videos. I can link to them in the description. But let me just say, you can ferment the peppers with salt in the cupboard for a very long time before making hot sauce. Ask me how I know. I might have forgotten about peppers before and still made pretty great hot sauce. Yeah. I seriously can't get over the good news of all these Sugar Rush Peach. And we already picked some today. I like them to turn the peach color. You can pick them yellow, but I like them, the peach color, better. There's other peppers. This is called what is that called? I can't remember. Some sort of like Ralph squash pepper or something like that. My 7-pot chocolate is small and nothing, but that's okay. Jalapenos are pretty small, but they've got a few on there. We could use these towards making some tomatillo green salsa, right? Green salsa. Salsa verde, that's what it's called. Okay. In here. Don't mind all the craziness of the herbs and the calendula and the dill and the pumpkin that's trying to come inside, but we've got a really pretty pepper in there. This pretty pepper is called Fire and Ice. I need to pick it. I need to do something with it. It's hiding behind all these other plants, but it's doing really well. I just need to pick it. All right. Goodbye, dead leaves. Oh, it's so pretty in here though. I mean, really, if I can get over the stress of the mess. Oh, this pepper might be my most productive pepper. What in the world? What is this? What is this? Oh my gosh, it's lemon drop. I've never grown lemon drop before, but this, guys, here is a yellow one. There's probably hundreds on this one plant. I need to go through, do a good picking of this and make a hot sauce with it. Oh, finally, guys, finally, there's a couple. Scotch bonnet. I usually have hundreds of these. Haven't done as well for me this year, but at least I have a couple growing on there. And more zinnia. That's gonna be a pretty good salsa verde, if you ask me. Now I gotta look up a good recipe and try it out. Here is my debrief thoughts, takeaway from the August garden. August can be a little embarrassingly messy, especially to those who are not familiar with growing an August garden. If I brought a friend on a tour in this garden who did not garden and also did not know that I've been injured almost this entire calendar year, I think they would be like kind of shocked at how messy I look. Very messy. if I brought a gardener who has grown food and has an August garden and has dealt with gardening with injuries, I think there'd be a lot more understanding. And I'm hoping that I have more of you in the second category than the first, because guys, it is wild. But you know what? We're getting so much food from here that I really can't complain, even with my shortage of tomatoes, even with my beans that haven't germinated that great, even with the cucamelons that never came up, even though I tried to plant them 3 times this year. We have a huge tray of tomatillos to make salsa verde. We have so many winter squash growing. We have so many cucumber this year, and that's coming off of a 2-year drought of cucumbers where I had to get cucumbers from the neighbors to make pickles. So I cannot complain that this is the year of the cucumber. I love zinnias. So the zinnias have taken over the garden. That's okay. They're beautiful, and I think my bees really like them, so maybe they're turning into honey. That's great. I can't complain about more honey. Learning to live with imperfections, learning to live with things not the way that they ideally should look, is something that I want to grow in, and I want to encourage you to grow in, because it is worth it to grow a garden, even if it is crazy. Even if it could look more neat and tidy and more beautiful, there is beauty in the chaos and in the mess and in the crazy. And there is lots of food to feed my family. And for that, I am so incredibly thankful. You know, just today I was debating if I was going to starts for a fall garden, if I was going to simplify, because gardening with injuries is, to be really real with you guys, it's really hard. And I've had to ask my family for a lot of help. But I think being out here and even just being real with you guys and sharing the mess and those beautiful spaghetti squash that I need to harvest, not yet, but soon, I think I'm going to. I think I might try to simplify this year. And I say that every year and don't always do it, but I think I'm going to simplify. I think I am going to go ahead and do some fall starts, which I should do here soon, because I usually start them end of August, and it is the end of August. So I will have future videos for you guys and share all of this gardening. As I said, our summer garden is going to go until maybe mid-December, but we do slowly transition our garden into cooler weather stuff that will grow over the winter. And I want to share all the pieces with you guys, the messy, the beautiful, the imperfect, and the real, and the food. Maybe you live in a zone that you could grow citrus, or maybe you live in a zone you don't think you can grow citrus, but you could grow it in a pot. And I want to show you in August one of my best watched videos about how to overwinter citrus and how we do it successfully. I'll see you over there.